Thank you for joining us. I'm Juan, lead trader and founder of Prosperity Trade, where we discuss everything investing and trading related. Today, I want to do our due diligence on ticker symbol GOLD. And I came across this ticker when I started to research kind of gold stocks. And the reason I was interested in gold stocks is because of the current macro situation in the market with the increased inflation, with the printing of money. And the inflation is increasing, but it's getting back to pre-COVID rates. But the more it increases and the more we print money, it potentially going to scare people out of the stock market and probably drive them into gold and Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. So I just wanted to kind of balance my portfolio a little bit with these types of stocks. And that's important because we focus on disruptive technology, but you should balance it. And I will be focusing on balancing our portfolio with further stocks like maybe Microsoft, which will probably be one of the companies to hit 2 trillion market cap, and different stocks that are just going to be around for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. So before we begin, please read our disclaimer. So here at Prosperity Trade, we're not registered as investment advisors. We suggest that everyone do their due diligence before purchasing any stock. Okay, so about this company, they're based out of Toronto, and they're one of the world's largest gold producers, operating mines in North America, South America, Australia, and Africa. In 2020, they produced nearly 4.8 million ounces of gold and nearly 460 pounds of copper. They've had 68 million ounces and 13 billion pounds of proven and probable gold and copper reserves. Barrick has gold and copper miner operations in 13 countries, North and South America, all the way to Africa and Saudi Arabia, with the majority of them being in Africa. They have quite a bit of mining in Africa. They're the second largest mining company in the world, and its bottom line has skyrocketed due to the sudden surge in gold, copper prices in 2020, and people were reinvesting in relatively stable assets. Last year, its revenue grew by 30% year over year to $12.5 billion. So reasons to be bullish, the current macro, the tax inflation. It's good to get some gold in your portfolio to counterbalance against inflation and financial market uncertainty. Right now, we've been printing a ton of money, and if inflation goes up to pre-COVID rates or higher than pre-COVID rates, it might scare some people from stock market and have them invest in gold and crypto. So their free cash flow and operating income are low versus U.S. stock market near record over valuations. They've been cutting costs and paying down debt for the last 2 years. They have 450 million pounds of copper annually, which is 1.8 billion in revenue. Fourth quarter earnings report highlighted improving trends in cash costs, declining debt, and steady management expectations for even better numbers in 2021 and 2024. They've also included a higher dividend this year. They've invested more so that you can get higher dividends with a yield of 1.77% according to NASDAQ.com. And declining real interest rates leads to higher gold prices. And that's been historically when real estate interest rates tend to decline and become negative. That's when you've had spikes in gold prices. So right now, the real estate rates just dropped a little bit more. So if they continue to drop and go negative, that usually sends gold prices a lot higher. And just a little bit about their management. Under Chairman John Thornton, he replaced longtime chairman and founder Peter Munk in 2014. Barrick reduced production in favor of better profitability and a healthier balance sheet, which they've had. As a part of Barrick's acquisition of Randgold CEO Mark Bristow became CEO and president of the combined company, with Thornton remaining as chairman. Bristow has a long track record as a successful operator, especially in the challenging African geopolitical environment, which is where they have a lot of business. So this is just a chart showing why it would be a great bargain. Their price to cash flow ratio is low. Their operating PE ratio is low. their CFO per share is low, and their PS ratio are low. All these indicators show that the stock is, right now, buying the stock around these areas, it would be a good deal. It's considered a bargain at the rate. Their price to free share flow is lower than the majority of the other mining companies. So you see that Barrick Gold is 10.77. Their price to cash free flow ratio is 10.77 compared to 13 and as high as 33. And what that basically tells, a lower value of this for price to free cash flow indicates that the company is undervalued and its stock is relatively cheap. So if this company has 100 million in cash, and let's say 50 million goes towards the business, then that 50 million would be compared to whatever their market cap, and let's say their market cap is 1 billion, it'll be the 50 to the 1 billion. So what are some risks? Well, they've had a couple of projects that are noted here where they've lost a lot of money. Like in the area of Chile and Argentina, they estimated that it was going to cost roughly 3 billion, ended up costing 10 billion. Then they spent 7 billion when they went to Jebel Sayed for the development there, and they lost some money there. There's some analysts that forecast gold prices to be as low as 1,300 per ounce in 2023. That would be bad for this company because of the cost that they incur for every ounce of gold, or for them to be profitable. So they have Barrick is highly leveraged to gold prices. All-in sustaining costs are roughly $950 to $1,050 per gold equivalent ounce. So if gold prices drop that low, that would be really bad for this company. So this is an investor relation that they put together, and it kind of just highlights everything they've been doing, how their prices have been increasing, how they've increased in net earnings, how they've dropped the debt down, and how they're doing everything to be in the right direction. Or especially with the new management, they've been doing great since 2014. So this is just something I wanted to show. In the last 6 to 9 months, 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, there's been a lot of inside buying. So that's usually a positive thing. People look at this and they look at the ratios and they just consider a good buy, a good deal at this time. And some of the investors, BlackRock has over 130 million shares. VanEck, FMR, Capital Research, all invested. Vanguard invested, Fidelity, RBC, First Eagle, TD Assets, CIBC. These are all big names, well-known. Renaissance, T. Rowe, Franklin. So a lot of institutional investing in this company. If you look here on Yahoo Finance, they've gotten some more agreements. So those are catalysts, and hopefully that becomes profitable, another potential source of revenue for them. Motley Fool just put an ad out, 3 attractive value stocks to buy in April, and they noted Barrick Gold as one of them, especially since the company expects to produce 4.7 million ounces of gold and 460 million pounds of copper. So they're bullish on it, which is always a good sign. On tip ranks, they have quite a few analysts, a couple of them pretty high ranked, and they are all giving pretty much a value as low as $23 and as high as $34, which is good. I would say if it goes up to the 30s, that would be a good time to reevaluate and see how the company is doing at that point, and if it's worth keeping or liquidating your position. So, and here's another illustration, kind of what we discussed before. Real interest rates drop down to the negatives, you see there's always a little spike. So, the gold has gone up and interest rate is always in the negatives when it does its spike. So it's currently the interest rates have dropped a bit in the 2s. So if it continues to drop, then you can expect maybe another spike in gold, which would be good for the company. So looking at their financials, if you look at their revenue here in 2011, 2012, it was 2013 was extremely strong, but it started to decline, and they started to turn it around. So they're getting back to their 2013 numbers, and hopefully that trend of going up continues. But another great thing to look at is their over here, the total operating expenses, 296 million compared to 942 here, 1 billion here, 1 billion here, 1 billion here. So they've kept it relatively low, which is another great sign that management is doing a great job. If you look at their balance sheet, they have over $5 billion on cash, which is the $5 billion cash and equivalents, which is the most they've had going back to 2011, which is a great sign. Their current assets over 8 billion, long-term assets over 45 billion. Then we look at their liabilities. Only the current liabilities is about 2 billion, which is what pretty much the average they've kept it, between 1 to 4. So 2 is a good number. And their long-term liability, it's in the 14 billion, as opposed to here 23, 22, 21, 21, 16, 14, 13, 14. So they're doing a good job controlling their long-term liabilities as well. So overall, I think this stock is a good investment. It's a little high on the RSI, but I would say it's good to get in now, hold it. Let's see what the economy does, and potential support here in the 19s. Then after that, maybe 17s, so some support there too. So look for that. 17s will be good support. 19. But I would say add it to your portfolio, kind of like help you hedge against just the uncertainty. We don't know what exactly is going to happen with the economy, but there's a lot of money printing, which causes concern. So we'll see if inflation continues to rise, and if inflation continues to rise and the real estate interest rate continues to decline, that's going to be great for gold. And being great, anything that's great for gold, or when gold is good, this company will do well. So thank you for watching. If you stayed on this long, please hit the like button, press the subscribe and the notification bell to stay up to date with the most recent videos. And thank you for your support of our channel. Have a great day.